Right, on Monday, I was back on my bullshit drafting back-to-back big board teams. Of course, we draft a lot of NFL teams around here. We're going to be drafting NFL teams all summer. But I was approached. There's been lots of people clamoring for me to get in these baseball streets. And I'll be completely honest. I was reluctant. I don't follow baseball. I don't know anything about baseball. And yet these badge bros and these guys are very convincing. And so today I've capitulated. I will be doing a dinger draft on Underdog Fantasy. Huge contest, lots of enthusiasm going around for this. These guys, the badge bros, are going to be my tour guide through the baseball cosmos. They're going to get me caught up to speed and maybe catch you up to speed if you're not in those baseball streets. We also, if you are here and interested in more Underdog baseball content, the Badge Bros have a very exciting announcement that we are going to make right after the jump. Let's get to it. Big show.
Oh, another Influencer 101 for the backward hats, bro. Rigged!
Zach Ertz with no Tyler Algier bringback? Yikes.
You reached around for correlation? That's a no-no. You ADP bros disgust me. How about you just live a little?
Handcuffing might actually be a way to get unique if the field's avoiding it.
The Wi-Fi at this resort is a disaster?
These fucking streamers don't have player takes. What if a piss boy draft is the room you need?
Oh!
All right, here we are, guys. They've been clamoring for it. You guys are the MLB thought leaders in the Underdog space. What do I have in store for me today? What's going on?
Oh man. I mean, this is going to be a wild ride. I'm really excited. I think we have some things in place for you to set your mind right, to put you in the right mindset to be drafting these. We have some comparisons, some parallels for you as far as football goes. I think it'll be a really seamless intro into baseball for you.
I'm excited. Yes, I know our guy Chipsy, who's always in the chat. He's at every single one of my streams I do. He goes, win dinger draft. And honestly, relentless. I was just trying to like brush him off and just kept stringing him along. But eventually the chorus became too loud and I did give in. And we are going to do one today. And you guys are going to walk me through. We're going to do some table setting. You guys are going to basically, you know, I need football analogies to really bring me along, because if you speak my language about week 17 equivalents, 0 RB equivalents, that's what's going to pique my interest. So we are going to do that. But before we do it, you guys tell me you have a little announcement to make here as it pertains to Underdog baseball and the Badge Bros.
We got a little something. I like to say that we got irons in the fire and stuff like that. I like to always say that. But this one has come to fruition, and this is great because Underdog has been acquiring so much talent recently, right? We've seen Steve Smith Sr., we've seen Josh McCown, we've seen Rasheed Wallace, Gilbert Arenas, Thrill, and now the Badge Bros. The Badge Bros, they've come full circle. They've seen that we are on the level of those other previously mentioned names, and we're gonna be doing some baseball content for them 2 times a week under a new channel. The link to said new channel is in the bio below us. And even if you're not a huge baseball person yet, we're going to convert you. But even if you're not a huge baseball person yet, there's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff on this Underdog channel. There's going to be some in the office stuff, some behind the scenes stuff, some lifestyle stuff. So it's going to be something that you're going to want to be subscribed to anyways. But that's where we're going to be residing going forward. And I think what we're just trying to do is bridge the gap between people that love to play best ball but don't know a whole lot about baseball yet. Like, let's go ahead and bridge that gap there. And then let's bridge the gap between like the old heads of baseball where it's like the season's too long. There's too many stats. There's too much to follow, all this sort of thing. I don't want to play fantasy baseball. We'll throw that out the window because we're just going to have a sweat all summer long. So while you're drafting your football stuff, you're going to have the sweat equity on the backhand side with baseball, right? And to relate that sweat equity, I mean, to see a guy hit a 3-run dinger in terms of like both fantasy points scored and like just pure erotic feeling in my heart, like something like that. That's like a 100-yard touchdown to the house every time. And that happens every night. So we're really excited. It's been a long con, Pete. We've been doing all these other sports for everybody else's sake. And now we're going to bring the people to what we love, right?
Yep.
There you go. I'm already refreshing in real time. We're up to 18 subscribers. I did drop the link in the chat as well. I mean, we have 65 people watching right now, which means at bare minimum, we should have 65 subscribers here. I will not let us in this stream with anything less than 50 subs, and we're going to have a stretch goal. If that, I will drop that in the link. So subscribe to this new channel. Numi, how you feeling about this new era of the Badge Bros?
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I just gotta figure out how to pronounce names correctly, so we can get that out of the way and don't have to deal with that. But yeah, no, it's gonna be glorious. Already being just a sicko in these streets nonstop. Yeah, as John said, when someone for your home team, when they hit that dinger and it actually matters, it is a great feeling. It is fantastic.
Euphoric sensation.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, right off the top, when Byron Buxton's MVP, I'll enjoy my dinger wins. Anyway,
what is there more variance for? Touchdown scoring or home runs?
Touchdowns.
Home run.
The thing about the sheet.
The thing about the home run is like you hit the ball an inch short, and it's 0 points. But you hit it just an inch farther, and it's literally 14 points for a home run. Like I know it's the game of inches, you call that, but like the swing of getting 14 points to it just being a flat zip 0, like off the post doesn't count. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. That's my thought.
So I was thinking Miles Sanders, right? Like Miles Sanders, 0 touchdowns scored last year.
Okay.
0. And then he had double-digit touchdowns, like one of the league leaders in rushing touchdowns this year. You will never see a guy hit 0 home runs in a full season played come out and be one of the leading leaders in home runs in baseball. Like there's so much data. We're dealing with literally 10 times the sample size if you're going to go by game sample size in a baseball season compared to a football season. So because of that, there's so much more data. You're able to make so many more informed decisions, which is part of the fun for some people where they don't really have to think too much. They can just look at projections and be like, oh yeah, a lot of nerds do this for a living. Let me just put the scoring into these projections and bada bing, I'm good.
So I have pulled something up here. You guys have helped me create a little cheat sheet. You are going to help me, figure out this language, this new world. It's a Rosetta Stone. We're going to pour over my NFL best ball knowledge here. I love already the things I'm seeing on the screen, pissing yellow, the fact that there's a David Montgomery of baseball. I love it. Oh no, there's a Skyy Moore. That sounds scary. A Rojo sounds even scarier. So I'll let you guys tell me where to start. I'm going to start taking notes here. This is going to be my cheat sheet. If you guys are new to baseball, feel free to copy off of my notes. But what do you got for me here?
Well, let's start at the top, because I think the positional comp feels like the grassroots, the bare stuff, right? And I think if we are going to make a comp so there's 3 designations for baseball. There's pitcher, infielder, and outfielder. We like to group pitchers as running backs, both in terms as the premium in which you pay for the elite ones at the front end of drafts, and also in terms of like injury risk. Then we would go to the infield position, and we would say tight ends and quarterback kind of both fit this mold. That would kind of be our like onesie position there. And that's because they're always readily available, and they kind of present the safest of floors and like accumulation of points there. And then that would leave yellow as yellow right there. Yeah. And
outfield is wide receivers.
Yeah, it's easy. Outfield. Same color.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can still piss yellow in baseball drafts is what you're telling me.
Oh, you're going to see a lot of yellow.
You're going to see
a lot of yellow. It goes early and then it dries up quick. It's going to look like the big boards.
Okay. All right. So the outfielders are where we get our ceiling.
I would say the outfield, I'd say the comparison works better in terms of the outfield is where you get the elite slate breaking upside players early.
Yeah, as far as scarcity goes, especially, I think is more so like where the comparison lies.
Mm-hmm. And how about I know I don't see something on here. Is there like the rookie breakout, the second year breakout stuff? Does the youth breakout stuff come into play as much in baseball?
it's kind of complicated. It's a long, drawn out conversation. There are some rookies that pop in ADP. Like there is one by the name of Corbin Carroll, and he's this like scrawny little dude, but he runs fast as hell. And he has other good tools as well. But there's a lot of like debate as far as taking these bets on these rookies versus not, because I mean, as there is in the NFL, I mean, there's some upside to it. But I would say for this year, there's not as many like super exciting rookies. And a lot of people would tell you that it's not a good idea to bet on rookies. But I do think that there's an upside case to be made, a la the NFL in that regard.
All right, let's get to the good stuff. What's the zero RB of baseball? What can I how can I be a piss boy in the dinger streets?
So we have, as far as zero RB, punting pitching as our idea. Now, a lot of the smart guys with the data, they will tell you not to do that necessarily. But this is definitely one of the ways to do that, is to just go for the raw points and then load up on pitching late. I'd say another way to do that would be punting infield, but yeah, definitely, like, if you're going to punt anything, don't punt wide receiver. Don't punt outfield.
Okay. All right. So load up on infield, outfield, late. And so how like are the pitcher ADPs, are they pretty like smooth throughout, or is there like a dynamic where a bunch of them go early? Like how do people feel about the pitchers like they do running backs, where there's this legacy element where these are the guys who everyone grew up watching, they were playing their LaDainian Tomlinsons and Jamal Charles, and there's a nostalgia factor there? Or like, what's the landscape like ideologically here?
There's definitely a little bit of that with like guys like Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer. Those would kind of be like your LT comps, where it's like guys who have won multiple Cy Youngs in the past, and they're kind of thrust up into this 3-4 tier range. Jacob deGrom, same sort of thing. But to answer like the macro level, the pitchers are kind of scattered throughout, but there are definite tier breaks between like aces and workhorse inning guys, because it's very similar to running back, where we're trying to buy volume, except for the volume's more projectable with pitcher. But then at a certain point, it falls off a cliff, just like running back.
All right. I mean, Vaporware is trying to don't punt pitcher, Pete. You know, the people have been telling me not to punt running backs for years, buddy, and I've never listened. So I'm all aboard the punting pitcher train. All right. This has it, the tingles really going. Week 17. Clearly, this contest in some time. Clearly, there's a week or multiple weeks where all the money is. What's our week 17 equivalent here?
Numi, you got this?
It's it is try and stack up Coors Field, which is which is the Ford, obviously the Ford Field of the NFL or of the baseball, but it is you're trying to stack teams and Colorado Rockies that are playing in Colorado during those playoff weeks in rounds 2 through 4. That now, granted, the exact list, we have a list out there. We can pin
I got you.
in the baseball sheet. Yeah, he's got that. But if you want to name off the specific teams, if you know that.
Yeah. What week? I need to know my calendar.
Okay, so week 17 is week 23 and 24. It's a 2-week window, and that would be September 11th through September 24th. And
9/11. I'll never forget that.
You will never forget week 17 for baseball.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically within that, because it goes one step further than just finding like good game matchups, what Numi's alluding to is finding good park factor, and not all schedules are created equal, right? Because there are certain teams within that window that have 14 games, and there's others that have 13, and there's one team that has 12, right? So just to name a few, there are 4 teams that play all 14 days of those the 2 final weeks of the season. And that's the Mets, the Nationals, the Orioles, and the Brewers. So if we are treating week 17 as this lens of where all the money is at, we want to be looking, as Numi alluded to, at good quality park factors, because not all parks are created the same. And we want to be looking at teams with more games, because that just adds, extra 4 at-bats, extra 5 at-bats potentially an extra second start for certain pitchers, which, I mean, if you're going to give us that, like, we're going to take that every time, right? So focusing on those 4 teams plus the 2 teams that are playing at Coors Field outside of the Rockies are the Cubs and the Giants.
And I will say, like NFL, it's not a be all end all, although we are optimizing for week 17. I know there's people in the Discord that have talked about they're basically fading teams that don't have 14 games, that they're fading this because they don't have. I kind of use it as a tiebreaker. So I use that knowledge of if I get into that where it's one versus another and I have a Met, a National, an Oriole, or a Brewer, like kind of sitting there, and I'm like, I'm going to take that guy over this other one because it's a game and I both value them the same. That's how I value as a tiebreaker. I'm personally not going in there and like making it a point to stack these 4 teams and get the teams that have the most games on there. That's not my primary focus. It's just a tiebreaker.
So yeah, talk to me about then more season-long stacking, and I guess as it pertains to the playoff weeks too, because I assume we have a similar push-pull, right? Where, team stacking or going heavy on a team, like if you have 182 games or whatever for that to play out, that nailing the breakout team or whatever is huge. However, is there a tipping point where having too many guys from one team, if they have a bad couple of games in week 22 or week 23, then you're screwed. So how should I be thinking about stacking up a specific team?
So we kind of describe it. Well, we paraphrasing from our guy, Chris Baseball, who does all the data for baseball and PGA and everything. Everybody, I believe, watching this is following him. Nice to have, not need to have. So pairing a couple teammates from a couple different teams is going to give you a nice boost to your ceiling because they correlate with one another. Where if a guy is getting an RBI and you also have his teammate who he hit in and scored a run, like that's essentially like QB to wideout type of stacking. So you'll see this a lot in the daily contest where people are drafting teammates together. It's a nice tiebreaker in drafting for us as well.
Okay.
In terms of, I want to add 2 things, Pete. Sorry. In terms of like rules of thumb, they're far less defined than like NFL is yet. But like we kind of think about capping at like 3 or 4 max per team, and then incorporating multiple stacks that is like kind of 8 total stacked hitters. But it's not as clean as QB wide receiver when you're taking like the 3rd or the 4th, because batting order plays like your lineup order plays like a very important role in stacking, where there's effectively 0 correlation between a 2-hole hitter and a 9-hole hitter, or with a 2-hole hitter and a 7-hole hitter comparative. Whereas if you have the 4th wide receiver on a team, he's always tethered to the quarterback. So we can fall into traps of like imperfect stacking where we just add a guy because he looks like he's on the same team as the other guy, but they're probably never going to hit close to one another. So that's why we say it's nice to have, but not necessary to force those.
Gotcha. Pissing yellow. I mean, we already kind of hit on this, right? This is loading up on outfielders early. Are there outfielder avalanches in these drafts sometimes?
Oh yeah. You'll see in the first round, you will see like 10 outfielders go. And then in the second round, it will be like no yellow. And then in the third, it kind of picks back up. But like the second round, there's like no outfield. So you might as well just grab one. Like you really need to.
Onesie positions we hit on this. You said this is the infielders, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm triggered. Who is the David Montgomery?
What's actually funny is we couldn't agree on who the David Montgomery was, so we took it out and then we added the Skyy Moore and the Rojo stuff at the bottom because we just couldn't find a good enough comp for David Montgomery.
Wow.
Because there's no one that we love to hate but could bury us. Like we all kind of Yeah,
there's no one that like the field like overrates, that is like an automatic fade like all the time. It's not as fun. It's not as fun. Like everybody's viable in a
Is there
sense.
equivalent in baseball where there's almost like positional battles where you get the Pollard Zeke or the Khalil Herbert, David Montgomery? Does that really exist where you actually don't know who's going to win the starting job and that's going to like really tilt the outcomes?
For pitching, I would say. There's a guy, a young guy, he's flying up ranks right now. He's a pitcher for the Astros. And a lot of it kind of comes down to mostly like injury, but there's guys waiting in the wings that can make really strong impacts. And the tough part of it is like sometimes we don't know who these guys are. Like last year, like one of the best pitchers in baseball, like the absolute like stud, Spencer Strider, literally was not drafted on any best ball teams. Nobody had him in best ball because no one really saw him coming. And they just like gave him a starting job and like, oh my God, this guy strikes out everybody. Okay. He's a starter now. So sometimes it's hard to see, but that does exist. It just not necessarily for our intents and purposes is like to capitalize on.
The depth of baseball is like so much greater that when you're drafting guys in the like 18 through 20, you still know exactly who they are. And a lot of them still are going to have guaranteed like 150 games and 500 plus at bats, right? It's not quite as comparable to football where you're throwing darts at guys who like might have 12 touches on the season, right? Something like that. But the chat is on one right now with these David Montgomery comps
there's
that
a
are,
bunch.
I
love it.
Really good. I think none of the okay. Michael Harris feels like a really good one. Vinny P feels good.
You don't. You
so
put that back in
Sandy.
your box. There's gonna be no Vinny P slander on this stream. None. Not.
Yeah, that's why we can't agree on one, right? But the Sandy one feels very good. So Sandy Alcantara won the NL Cy Young last year, and a lot of people aren't giving it the credit in which he deserves as a pitcher. He's thrust up amongst the ace tier. He's in the top 5 in terms of pitcher ADP, but then a lot of people are kind of like discrediting last year's performance and being like, now let's thrust up some of these other more fun names over him. So I do think that's a pretty fun one there.
All right, let's because we are going to be hopping in a draft in a second.
Yeah.
Let's hit some more of these here. I know what we already said the Ford Field is, of course, our Coors Field here. Hit me up here. Let's talk a little roster construction, ideological drafting, RB dead zone, hero RB. What do we want to hit?
So for roster construction, we had no idea prior to like this year where now we got to see some finals rate over expectation, advanced rate over expectation. Capping your pitchers, and this all depends on the capital that you're putting into it. Capping pitchers at 8 max, in my opinion, is definitely the way to go. And that should be considered like a zero pitcher type of build because we can only start 3. So that's 5 pitchers just eating up a bench spot. So leaning into going like 7 or 6 pitcher is definitely like, and then from that, at that point, it's just like mix and match your batter construction. It doesn't really matter. There's just more raw points from the hitters, period.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can't really go wrong if you just stay 6 to 8. You know, at all 3 positions, if you're between 6 and 8, the sickos will get a little fun and they'll take 5 pitchers only or 5 outfielders only if they slam outfield early. But if you're just entering for the first time, like your standard, like 3-6-8-3 build would be like 8-6-6 or 7-7-6. Like that.
Okay. Let's see here. Hero RB. I assume that's the anchor pitcher.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my favorite strat. That's most of my builds.
It feels the best.
It feels so great for you to get that so quickly. Our son's growing up in the baseball streets here.
I'm working on it. So then what's the pitcher dead zone here?
Kind of where projectable innings fall off a cliff. So like there's kind of like a tier of these workhorse style pitchers where they're going to be like 180 innings, like almost guaranteed. They're going to be front end rotation guys. And then basically at, I not really attribute a number to it, but let's call it pitcher 30, 35, something like that. Everything just kind of gets really muddy, and pitcher 30 through pitcher 80 are kind of like, you can make bull case, bear case for all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, the dead zone kind of ends at like pitcher, like around pitch 50, like 50?
Literally
okay. 50, because I mean, there's still names up there that have the same They're gonna get their innings. They're gonna get their innings. They're locked in there. Now it's just a matter of it feels like it's younger guys and that had a down season, or vets that are just kind of vets that people are doing.
Yeah, good call.
Once you get past 50, like the Brady Singer, and then you can start getting into Springs, Grayson, Luis Garcia, that feels like it's a stark drop off.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's a good way of framing it, as a cliff opposed to like a drop off opposed to a dead zone per se.
Yeah.
Real quick then here before we hop in this draft, give me the rookie upside, and then yes, trigger me with the version of Skyy Moore and Ronald Jones, the guys I shouldn't be drafting.
Where are we starting? We're starting
do rookie upside, because I kind of asked that before. You said it's not quite analogous to NFL.
So how would you say this, John?
Well,
okay, I'd say we've been spoiled in recent memory greatly with extreme young talent pushing up and being extremely elite, but it's not the norm of the sport historically speaking. So all of a sudden we have a plethora of ultra elite young talent, but grasping on that late in drafts is suboptimal when you have projectable innings and safety for these other things. So, and then the one thing I'd like to say here about pitcher is like clamoring to a guy like Grayson Rodriguez, incredible pitching prospect, great profile, and he's going in like the middle rounds. The problem is like teams protect rookies differently than in the NFL. In the NFL, they'll let rookies, okay, now we got 6 games left. It's rookie wide receiver season. Let them run all the routes. In baseball, it's the opposite. They'll go like, wow, this guy's put together 80 really strong innings. We're not in contention. Shut him down. He's shown us enough. That's it. Bring him next year. So when it comes to the later weeks in the season, when all the money's up for grabs, we might have some elite pitchers who were dicing in the middle of the year, but now they're just sitting on our bench because they're not even on the roster later down the stretch because they've shut them down for precautionary reasons.
Okay. All right. So you're telling me I need to chill out with all my rookie chasing. Fair? All right.
Fair.
Skyy Moore, were you guys able to come up with a consensus here or no?
We each had one, but
all right, let me get them in. The baseball heads will appreciate these. This might as well be Chinese that you're listing off.
All right, mine is Jack Sawinski.
Spelling?
Literally, it's phonetic.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Okay. Next.
Mine is Alex Kirilloff, and you can
spelling
Kirilloff.
Okay. These
Mine's
are all
Tyler,
on my do not draft list. Okay.
Tyler O'Neill.
Okay.
Yeah, and we kind of we kind of framed it as like guys we love that we've kept drafting that are probably going to blow up in our face. That was our idea of a Skyy Moore. Like, I'm not going to stop drafting Tyler O'Neill, but I know it's bad for me right now.
Okay. Hang on real quick here. Devin, Pete looks lost in this talk. That's literally the fucking premise of this show is me being lost. Jesus Christ. But also, yes, Devin, send me more of the cocktail sauce. Devin works at the, I think it's Elmo's, the famous steakhouse in Indianapolis that has that really good cocktail sauce. Yes, Devin, please send me more of that. All right. Who's the Rojo?
Mitch Keller.
Okay. Any relation to Helen?
You would think
may
sometimes.
as well be.
But he's figured it out.
What did we term this? What was the reason behind like the definition for the Rojo take again?
Perennially lets us down.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, mine isn't perennial lets us down in recent because he's just been hurt. I guess, yeah, but mine's Jack Flaherty.
Okay.
And that's
I went the same route as you, Newbie. Mine's Chris Sale, where it's like we're enamored with the potential and we love this, but they're gonna hurt us again.
Yeah.
Thank you,
the chat says here's the thing. We'll share this sheet with everyone. We can pin it maybe in the Badge Bros Discord or somewhere in there, and I'll put it in the show notes here. But yes, here's the full sheet. We'll make sure if you want access to this, I'll put it in the show notes afterwards, but I'll also drop it in the chat here. Okay. All right, guys. I think the time has come for my maiden voyage. I'm going to register You guys are going to talk me through. I'm going to try to reference this cheat sheet, and I'm going to try to be competitive. That's all we can ask for. Put our best foot forward, be competitive. Dinger, 30-second draft. Who's joining us? Looks like we have a few spots.
It's going to be the fastest dinger ever.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to feel quite this fast.
Yeah.
excited to see
Yeah,
how
that's
much hell
the
it
snap.
goes.
I've never seen a snap filled dinger before. Where
Wow.
you have 3, you go from 4 to 3 to just filled.
All right. So the influencer 1-3. 1-3. Can we work with the
Kinda.
1-3?
Oh, absolutely.
yes, we can.
Absolutely.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
All right.
This is honestly like one of the better picks to be in. Of course, like I think like if you're in the top 7 starting position, that's definitely like where you want to be. That's a good sweet spot. And you can make cases for these 3 outfielders that we have here, but maybe let you do a little like hindsight analysis, look at some like last year box scores, and we can help guide you. I really want this to be like your team. Like I want you to like try to do your best in this. I don't want to help you out too much.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you guys a little bit of stuff. I know a lot of people in Boston are very pissed that they let Mookie Betts go. He was like a big hero around.
That
these
was a
parts.
very silly trade.
Okay.
They released one of
Especially-
the players that they acquired for him.
Yeah, the big guy that they got for him, who was like a young kid, Jeter Downs, they released him this year, which layers on.
Let me continue to flex my baseball knowledge. I say we take Ohtani. I go to Underdog and I say I demand both pitching and outfield points for
Yes.
Ohtani. Okay. Who should I really take though? Who's the best pick on the board?
This is
I'm
debatable.
Team Acuna, but it's very debatable. Yeah.
I'm Team Ronald Acuna as well.
I would go Ronald Acuna.
Okay, so you guys are just slaves to the ADP. You guys never live a little. No creativity.
So Acuna's
Talk
nice.
to me about Acuna.
Yeah, because like his stats are awesome. He's been dealing with lower body injuries, but he can steal bases, which does provide you points. And there's rule changes to baseball this year that everybody believes will result in more stolen bases, but like projection systems don't know exactly how much it's going to affect. But there's a stolen base bump project, like possibly, and his team is really, really good. So he is going to be surrounded with players that are going to hit him in for runs, and he will be surrounded by players that will be on base for him to get RBIs, as well as being a really good power hitter. So he's really got like the full package.
Okay. What he plays for the Braves?
He does,
Yes, sir.
which some would call East Coast scores.
Oh,
Some would
okay.
say.
All right.
It's so funny if you look at a graph of like elevation levels for baseball stadiums. It's like there's Coors Field way up, and then like where he plays, it's so much smaller, but it's like the 3rd highest elevation in the country as far as baseball stadiums go.
So I need to start seeing who the Braves play in week 23, right?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of where we
Oh,
go next.
Get on it. Yeah, that was an oversight.
Honestly,
So-
your team's dead if you don't run it back with the Chicago Cubs now, right?
What does this mean? Y'all better not let Pete take Buxton too.
So Buxton's kind of like Will Fuller.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay, I
no,
bet.
no, no,
What
no,
the
no, no,
fuck?
no.
Yes,
Get
he
the
is.
fuck
Oh,
out of here.
what
Yes,
the
he
fuck
is.
are you even
No,
talking
no.
about?
You know, I got a Will Fuller comp. I got a way better Will Fuller comp, but we'll say let Numi take the Buxton one for a second.
How is he
No,
this
no.
guy comp to Will Fuller and CMC? I mean, is this the most
It's
polarizing
dumb-
player in
that
the
is
league?
Nez is
He-
that is not even
he
close.
has
That's the worst
one of
comp I've ever
the-
heard on a show.
Yeah, that was bad. He has one of
mean,
the
he's hurt.
highest ceilings. He has one of the highest ceilings in baseball when he puts it together and he's healthy. He has never put it together and never been healthy.
Doesn't that kind of sound like Will Fuller, Pete?
Nope.
Was Will Fuller ever been an MVP considerate at one point?
No.
Like, coming into a season, he was like Buxton was getting like votes in the pre-thing. When has Will Fuller ever been? No. All right. Anyway,
Hang on,
but
real
yeah.
quick. Is Bo Bichette related to former Blake Street bomber Dante Bichette?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
his son.
That's his son.
Badass. Look at my.
They have like a
baseball.
monopoly on former players' sons, by the way. They have the Vlad Jr. They used to have Biggio.
Yeah.
Like they had all the former players' sons.
Okay, we're about to be up here in the second round. Things like you guys said, it was all yellow early. Now only one outfielder in the second round. Positionally, what are we thinking we're doing here?
Well,
Smart
you
stuff.
can get interesting because you can start thinking about stacking or you can take like the hero pitcher approach, which I've been gravitating towards myself, where I try and lock up, one or two aces early and then not spend a ton of capital on pitcher in total. I think Austin Riley feels nice as a stacking partner here, but it'll be a pretty common start. Manny Machado feels like the best available player.
I'll say this. All I ask, I do want to go zero pitcher. It just feels already so right to me just to punt the hell out of this dusty position.
Let's go.
So
let's go.
Who should I take?
Take Machado or Riley. Take Riley for the stack. Take Riley for the stack equity.
Okay.
Whoo! Oh, well,
you go.
you've now beat John for the fastest fingers in the West.
Oh, no. These
incredible.
nimble fingers, they're just figuring out the cross sport buttons here. So, all right, talk to me about Riley here. So we're loading up on the Braves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they won the World Series 2 years ago. They're a really good perennial favorite in the East.
Really well-run organization. They're favorites to win the world. One of the favorites to win the World Series. And like we said, just loaded with good players. Like Matt Olson is another one. Like there's 3 Braves that go like really early. They're one of like the most highly draft capital teams, along with the Padres, who Machado just went after us. So
okay. So yeah, talk to me about, we got what? We're either going, I don't want these pitchers. I want infield or outfield.
Take Devers or Bobby Witt Jr. just so we can have a fun conversation.
Will people call me a homer just because I live here if I take Devers, even though I'm not a Red Sox fan? Is it a homer pick?
No, take
Robbie. No, Devers is legit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I also, will this trigger people if I put Buxton in the queue? Does that get everyone
He's
really
getting sniped.
Yeah.
But hopefully they let us talk about
Yeah,
more.
Chip will snipe him on the round back. There's no way he gets chipped through round 4.
What? I'm doing a chalky stack? I mean, what the... I mean, are we going 20 rounds? Do I have to worry about being duped in this draft?
Yeah, it's funny. The Philly guy is coming at you for a chalky stack, Mr. Schwarber Turner on the turn.
Every time.
I don't know what you just said, but it sounded like a diss. When they're saying that this is the equivalent of the Cup Williams Keaton,
kind of is.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close.
Yeah, you're a chalk donkey right now, but it's good chalk. It's in baseball. There's chalk in baseball is different than chalk in football. I don't care what anybody says.
But that's implying
it's true. It's
Williams and Keenan got pushed up ADP wise because of that.
They're not being pushed up. Okay. They're valid. I mean, Acuna before, like, there was the talk last year when the lockout was happening, was like, well, Acuna, if he's back day 1, like he could be 101, consider it. You know what I mean? Like he could be that 101. Look what he did. So like being at the 103 this year just is extremely right. And then Riley and Olsen both deserve it of their ADPs. And I just noticed Sheep took Olsen at the 15. That's crazy.
15, right. Flipping the board, baby. Love it.
So are there any other positional scarcity stuff? You guys talked about the pitcher cliff after, I think you guys said pitcher 30. Are there any other, like, is the way the value works that there's just not going to be another big run on outfielders, that just mainly happens at the top?
So the reason why, in my opinion, why there's such a big run on outfielders is because there's literally 3 outfielders for every team. Sometimes like designated hitters will get listed as outfielders. More often than not, they are. And then you have 5 infielders to choose from. So we are starting the same amount, but there's more infielders to choose from. So the position's deeper and there's more players to choose from. So it thins out really quickly at outfield, and there's better hitters, period, in the infield. These guys score more points than outfielders on a comparison basis. Is part of why that this run on outfielders happens.
Yeah, and one thing that like I've noticed too, just in terms of like going, like if your term of going zero pitcher, like I'm totally against it because I just think that the data that we have and the pitchers back there are so shaky that it just seems like, you have 8 and you're like, okay, cool. Like, but in all honesty, like
that argument sounds very familiar, Numi.
2 of those guys could end up honestly even like pitching in June and then and so forth. Like, like I'll make this.
Yeah.
We don't
gotta do it.
But
what do you mean? It's the best pick on the board.
Tell me, is he CMC or is he Will Fuller? I'm clicking him regardless.
He's CMC.
No, he actually is CMC.
No, T-Bear made the best comp in the comments here. He's Swift.
Okay. I mean, this sounds
He's
great.
He's DeAndre Swift, where it's like, if he smashes and he gets home, he's a top 5 running back. If he doesn't and he's injured and he's perennially hurt like he's prone to be,
And
he's going to have viable weeks, but he never plays. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, the never play thing. And then people say he's injury prone. He's had 2 of his longest and most, like, the injuries that actually affected him the most were getting hit by a pitch in the wrist and fouling it off himself. So it's like, is it injury prone, or are some of the injuries unlucky? I agree. He's not on the field that much, but
is most chalk donks who start with these first 3 picks don't have the cojones to select Buxton here.
That's exactly right.
That's the spin. That is the spin. But I'm telling you, anytime Buxton steals a base, you see him like kind of grimace a little bit. Like, you just pray for Newton. Everybody. That's just a word to everybody.
Yeah, you don't have to.
He's so polarizing.
I'll get tagged. It's gonna be bad. Yeah, the first injury when it happens, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna blow up.
All right, we're back on the clock here.
Well, I think for the brand, you got to thrust up Corbin Carroll here. I think I would take Eloy.
He's a rookie.
Because he's this fun, sexy rookie.
Oh, I mean, say no more. Say no more.
He played like a very few amount of games, but there's so much data in baseball, like on field, they register how fast players run. In his like limited capacity on the field, he registered the fastest sprint speed in all of baseball. It was like 30 feet per second.
It's tied with Buxton. Buxton is faster, I will say.
Lest we forget.
Is this a Minnesota homer take? Is that what this is coming from?
The Buxton stuff?
Yeah.
Certainly not.
Definitely not, Pete.
Certainly not. It's just the I don't care about injuries, and I'm here to win money, and the dude fucks. So, but no, we got steals, and the thing for me is I don't think these guys are on board, but I'm on board that this whole we've changed baseball. The bases are bigger. There's new Bach rules, which basically means but Nez can go into that. I haven't got specifically into that, but then they also have rules of how you disengagements, they call them, which is just stepping off the rubber of the mound or trying to pick off attempt. You can only do 2 per at bat. So that limits basically what a pitcher would normally do, where he could just pick off and pick off and pick off. And a guy like Buxton or Carroll would be after like the second or third pickoff attempt would still be getting the same lead. 2 pickoff attempts come, and all of a sudden they know he has to go to the plate. So I'm under the impression that steals are going to go up, and yeah,
Is this the guy I just drafted? Is it Carroll?
Yeah.
Dude looks like fucking Benny the Jet from The Sandlot. I love this.
He does. He's going to be wearing the high top flyers, the PH flyers, man. Yeah. He wears them.
All right.
We got to send you a video of him running. Then you're really going to be in.
5'10", 160, man. He's a twig.
Get him on the Underdog Cardio Club.
We're going to have to put some pounds on this guy.
But the thing is, he hits the ball really hard too. So he can be like a total package guy. But if we're looking for, like, we talk combined numbers a lot, Pete, where we talk like combining steals and home runs. So it'll be like, this guy's a 30-30 guy. He's a total 60 guy, like something like that. Like Corbin Carroll has the potential to steal like 40 to 50 bags and hit like 10 to 20 home runs. I mean, that's probably low, 15 to 20.
I would say 20 is the ceiling.
20 is the ceiling. Yeah, I think so too.
Consigliere, Pete proving he does not care about the MLB new rules. I didn't care about the old rules. So why am I supposed to care about the new ones?
You can tell Pete you can't spin around 3 times on the mound and throw it to center field anymore. He'd be like, dang, I used to love that. Like,
so what is Woo Woo doing here right now? Because this guy doesn't have a single yellow draft. This seems like a guy I wouldn't want to have a drink at the bar.
I would consider this like a boomer start. So we've got Yes.
So good.
We have some people in the baseball world that draft on Underdog, and they're awesome folks, but they're literal boomers, and they love to take pitchers, and they go nuts on early pitchers, and they love old guys too, like Max Scherzer.
The lady doth protest too much, woo woo.
So boomers also love boomers in this as well. So they'll take a lot of old pitchers. Like Justin Verlander's 40 years old, but like is still putting up elite.
I love. Don't even get. I love Justin Verlander. This
So
year.
do I.
I'm
I love
moving him up
fading
quite
the
a
age
bit.
curve.
Jump back to the queue here.
Yep.
Let's see.
Oh, there's Nez's boy. Oh, he's
Okay, so you could take the ceiling
what's it-
shot.
Bryce Harper.
Oh,
You could take the
yeah,
ceiling.
let's do
Let's
it.
go. Let's go. Let's take
Yeah.
Bryce.
This is the week 17 play.
Yes.
Is
So
it?
he's
Yes.
well,
Chip
he
is
had
so happy
Tommy
right
John
now.
he had Tommy John surgery, and he's out till like the All-Star break.
He's
But
gonna miss half
if
the
he
season.
comes back, if he comes
Over
back,
half.
like this is like the this is the skeleton key that
Yeah.
you need kind of deal.
This is the what do you need in the playoff weeks, and it's a healthy Bryce Harper in rounds 6.
All I'm hearing
lighting
is that
up
I'm
your
just
squad.
gobbling up risk and upside right now with these past 3 selections.
This is
That's
such
exactly
a
what
peak
you're
draft.
doing.
Yeah, you will
Yes.
finish
It's
first
so
or
on
12th
brand.
in this
Hey,
pod. That
I
is,
love this start. This is literally like quintessential like your style.
Well,
right
you guys said the Tommy John stuff. Everyone keeps telling me it's not going to be a big deal for Brock Purdy. He's going to be the starter. So, I mean, I'm fine.
Well, yeah. That's a whole nother
Hang on.
thing.
All right.
I think we should think about
Ooh.
one anchor pitcher right now.
Oh.
What do you think? What are you saying, Nez?
What do you think I think, man? We're looking at O'Neal Cruz right here. We gotta take O'Neal Cruz.
Okay, fine. Yeah, then you got to explain to Pete.
Are
that
each
this
of you
guy-
just thrusting one of your homer picks
It's
onto
so
me
funny.
this draft?
This is another high variance pick. So Pete, in your mind, when you think of a shortstop, you probably think of someone a little short, like Dustin Pedroia, right? Like
Yeah.
a short.
Walt Weiss, if you want to go back to my Rockies fandom.
Wow.
Are you too old for
Jesus.
Walt Weiss, Nez?
I am.
Too young?
yeah, I'm Googling Walt Rice as we speak.
You might just want to like look up O'Neal Cruz, like how you did with Corbin Carroll. If you just see him, it may do it like more justice. He's 6'7", and yes,
and he throws
what?
the ball 100 miles an hour from shortstop.
yes,
He's on that Corbin Carroll list of like people who run. Like he is fast too for a 6'7" guy.
and he hits
Incredible.
nukes. Like he hits the ball. They register how hard he hits the ball. He's up there with Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge as far as like the big boys. This is who
Yeah.
you want.
Okay.
He-
Wow. I'm
he hits
looking
the
at
ball
this dude.
completely out of into the Allegheny. Like that ball leaves the stadium more often than not when he hits it.
If we're looking for like targets per route run and like those fun things that we like to harp on for here, like O'Neal Cruz's exit velocity is like that. You pinpoint exit velo and you go, this is our targets per route run. This is why we're buying this guy.
Is exit velo like air yards? Is that our comp?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And like,
I
and
mean-
strikeouts are like drops if drops were like sticky. And he does strike out a lot. But if
We don't care about that here.
It doesn't hurt us in Underdog, but also if you can offset that with lots of home runs, then it's like it's worth it according to
Everyone
everybody.
talking about Woo getting bullied into 2 outfielders after defending that he's not a boomer.
also just for his own sake.
I like those. I like those.
John, do you have a homer team that you're going to thrust on me after I took Pirates and whoever?
No,
the Minnesota
you see,
team is?
Pete, I play with my brain, not with my heart. So I will not be thrusting any players on you. But if I had to, I would thrust Ty France on you. That's who I would do. I'm a Mariners guy. Close
Or Mitch
proximity.
What's his name?
Ty France.
Oh, it sounds like I thought that was the guy from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy there, but that's Tan France. I believe.
Tan.
Okay.
We don't have any comps for Tan France.
So
Yeah,
who
no, I
Numi, you're getting queasy about how far we're kicking pitcher down the road, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's
yeah.
shook
I
right
would
now.
never do this in my life. Never. Can't. I mean, actually, I'm sorry. I would. I do. If you're building a portfolio, I'll go out on a limb, build some teams like this. Don't get me wrong. My primary builds will not be like this. I should state.
Okay.
After we pick here, I can kind of tell you why I think that way and what kind of leads me to that. Because you know me, I'll get in a tangent while we're on these clocks and no one will make a pick.
Well,
but
Numi, just to be completely honest, you might be looking at my entire portfolio right here.
No, we will not let that be
that's
the
not
case.
happening. That's
We will not let that be.
Who am
the
I
case.
taking?
I think if Nez told you about Jeremy Pena's triceps compared to a certain player's quads, that you would be clicking his name right here.
This is the AJ Dillon
Yeah.
of
This is AJ Dillon of baseball. Yeah, his triceps are massive. Like puts Rudman to shame.
We just drafted a guy that's going to make O'Neal Cruz basically not ever score in our lineup.
What?
Explain that.
Like I don't know. We just drafted a fourth infielder, and I'm just like, I don't know. That's just my I'm just like, I see Pena.
You want to tell it to his face? Say it.
I know. I am. I'm on him. I'm on Pena.
Are you talking about the World Series MVP? The World Series MVP right there.
Dude, the chat is so worried about our pitchers, which makes me think we're on the right track. The chat is terrified.
Yes. I'm telling. We're fine because we're taking.
Okay, we are back on the clock. Is it time to get a pitcher?
I think it's time, but we got to see who's left there.
Blake Snell.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, come on, dude. This fits the team so well. Blake Snell has the potential, Pete, to be like he can run out there any day and be the best pitcher in baseball, or he can run out the following day and walk 9 batters
and not make it out of the first inning.
And not make it out of the first inning. He is exactly what this team needs.
Okay. Blake Snell, come on down. So is this a 0 pitcher build, or can we spin zone it and say this is a late anchor? You know, like when you take J.K. Dobbins and you'd be like, this is actually a late anchor 0 RB build.
Yeah, he's the anchor of our 0.
We could. We got
J.K.
Dobbins around 10. We got
J.K. Dobbins is a great comp for Blake Snell, though.
All right, Devin, I see you. You want me to roast your team out of pick 11 here? Ooh, little pricey on Jose for me. I definitely let Springer fall to me in the 5th. Typically, Alex Bregman, I believe, was one of those cheaters that was like banging the trash can when the Astros won the World Series.
Yep.
Pretty disastrous draft, but I think you can recover. Any other thoughts on his team?
No, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will say Snell, as far as like the pitchers that we're going to get after, no pitcher after like this round is going to have like the strikeout capability that Snell has. And that is truly how you unlock like weekly ceilings, because unless you get lucky, Blake Snell is only playing once a week for us. Like, so we are just trying to see like who can give us the most upside per start, because like it's so, that's what is so unique about pitchers. They score less and they literally play less. Like they're very variance, a lot of variance laden, but we're going to be good. We're going to be good.
So is there an element with the pitchers that's similar to like the bye week stuff where you can end up with zeros at the position, or is that not really come into play?
If we do, I will say if we do this build, we can end up with zeros in position.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, guys, we're going to be drafting guys that I mean, we're now going to hammer pitcher. I will say that, but it's just.
Luckily, we know ball. We're going to be good.
We're going to be telling a story for a lot of these guys that they're going to be hitting their ceilings.
I still don't want more than 8.
Yeah, I'm not going more than 8.
Okay,
I'm fine with 8.
I'm trying to light it on fire.
Once the guys in these back end of the drafts, we're terrible at picking them. It's just a fact. We're not good at we think we're good at taking these pitchers and identifying a guy that's going to hit. We're not good at it. You couple that with the ace pitchers are the ones that are more likely to get 2 starts in a week in the playoffs and more likely to get the quality start and the win because they're the ace pitcher. They're a better pitcher, so they're going to get the leash. You add all that together with we're playing for the scoring format. It's like I give me 2, 3, 4 pitchers before round 10.
Can I interest you in a little thing called living a little, sir?
There's a difference between living a little and
this.
Yeah.
What was I going to? Oh, I wanted to bring up a name that stopped me in my tracks. Is this the best name in baseball? Lars Nootbaar?
It's one of them.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
You'd be hyped.
He's got to be Scandinavian, I assume.
He's playing for Team Japan in the World Baseball Classic.
Okay,
and he's as white as you.
Very white. He's white passing. Extremely white passing.
Is he actually?
Yeah, he's on Team Japan. Yeah.
All right. If someone in the chat mentioned Charlie Morton earlier, I believe, is this a guy who should be on my radar?
It's the build like perfectly.
He does.
He's the safe.
My first baseball snipe.
You just shouldn't have said anything. You were like 10 seconds.
No, newbie, we're on enough of delay. Lamouche the douche. I
mean, Lamouche is in all these drafts. He's also going to take Hunter Brown like really, really quick too.
What about are there any other pitchers? Nestor?
Yeah, let's take Nestor.
Na-
Nestor
Nasty
Cortez.
Nestor. Yeah,
Yeah.
we like
Yeah.
Nasty Nestor. He's
What's
cool.
it?
Yep.
That's is that his actual nickname, Nasty Nestor, or you guys
Yeah.
just call him that?
Yeah.
Just real life.
Okay.
And he's got a
Does- I
sweet
feel like-
mustache and does really funky things with his delivery. He'd be fun.
I was just gonna say every pick now, I feel like you guys have gotten me hyped on that there's some kind of physical feature about them that I can Google image, and so I'm glad you said he had a cool mustache.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Snell is just not handsome. That's his quality.
All right. After this pick, I will pull up Cortez's nasty mustache. What are we looking at now?
I think you should go pitcher again, unless you want to hit outfielder with Winker, and just kind of buy a bounce back there. But I kind of like the upside of Pablo, Freddie Peralta, Senga. Like one.
What
of
do you
those
like,
three.
Numi? You got to get.
I
This
like
pitcher
Lance
room back on.
Lynn. I like Lance Lynn and Jose Barrero. Like I like them more than.
Little
I,
reach
n-
ADP.
I will say Sheep is the one that was on Lance Lynn and I was not. I did some digging into that and I'm on the Lance Lynn bounce back here.
Lance Lynn
no,
is
just-
sweet because he's chubby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
and he's
guy with a
the,
good fastball.
and he loves to curse up a storm on that mound. Loves to
David
be very
Wells.
yeah. Yes.
All right. Here's nasty Nestor right there. Look at that stash.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we
This
love
is-
that.
That stash is gonna have a good locker room presence in here. Who's our rookie who had the stash? Corral?
Carroll. Yeah. Corbin
Yeah.
Carroll.
Yeah, Corbin Carroll. Okay. All right. There we go. The chat was divided on Barrios and Lynn. It looks like it almost makes sense that their ADPs are pretty close to each other.
Yeah, I don't love Jose Barrios. I will say I don't take him very much.
Okay.
When he's bad, he's bad. And when
Yeah,
he's
he's-
good, he's average. So
Mhm.
it's tough.
He gets a long leash, which is nice, but he has some just abysmal starts.
Hey, Nez,
What-
we're getting in. Sorry, Pete.
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say
No,
we're
no.
getting in Will Fuller comp territory. Here's a Will Fuller comp. Michael Conforto. Michael
Okay.
Conforto
There you
sits
go.
a whole year of baseball out, waiting on a big contract that never comes, has an injury, gets surgery, now comes back and kind of gets like a middling try it out again deal to come back, and everyone's drafting him like he's an elite player, like the elite player of the past. Because he probably was deserving of that contract at one point, but he was trying to get paid before he had put it like all completely together. We'd just seen it in snippets, right? And then,
Yeah, I would
now
say
here's
he-
hoping he puts it together.
Yeah, he doesn't get drafted like he's elite though. He's down here.
Mm.
He's buried.
Yeah,
But that's
but
an
that's
awesome
where Will
candidate.
Fuller was last year, right?
Yeah, yeah, like as far as like draft capital, very much the same. Yeah.
Mhm.
What I was gonna like, what is, obviously in the football streets, we have our battles about roster construction, player takes, all this. What is the hot topic at the baseball best ball water cooler?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I would say outfield
out-
scarcity is definitely one.
yeah,
I would say the
pitching.
whole pitching thing we've been debating progressively here is a big one too. Like when the cliff is, when you should be taking your first pitcher, how many you should be getting in the first 5 rounds.
We were doing some
Um,
revisionist history before or last week, looking at the winner of last year's Dinger, and like it's kind of like mind-boggling. The winner of last year's Dinger only had 5 healthy pitchers, and like they were good pitchers, but there wasn't a lot of draft capital spent on those pitchers. Like they had one. It was kind of, it really like reframed I think at least my draft process and other people's draft process, especially coupled with baseball's data, his data that he's put out there that says, hey, just take good pitchers, like and stop at 6 and then load up on the raw points of batters. That's what the guy did that won.
yeah.
I'd say another one there that Dark Sheep brings up in the chat. That's a big one. The Fernando Tatis one is a
Oh,
big
yeah.
one because Pete, we haven't talked about Fernando Tatis yet. He's an infielder, Padres. He went in the 2nd round, presumably. His ADP is 21. If he was fully healthy, didn't have a PED suspension looming to start the season, and hadn't broke his wrist last year, Was it his wrist and then did the shoulder the year before?
Hurt his shoulder,
He
2 surgeries on his wrist.
Yeah, he's like a young stud who would be in the 101 conversation if we knew he was fully
Literally.
healthy and everything. And on a per plate appearance basis, he might be way thrust up there.
Permission to draft a Colorado Rocky, the Ford Field of the MLB. A little of my latent Rockies homerism. Anything bad to say about Charlie Blackmon?
He's old.
He's old. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And when he's not in cores, yeah, but when you get him in cores, especially with the guys we have, he's actually a pretty good pick.
Okay.
And the only thing we're thinking about is the final weeks. That's the only thing we care about. So Blackmon could honestly not score a point for us the entire year, and that'd be just fine.
There are two or three very easy late round infielder stacks that I really like to pair with him for that final week.
Man, this is you guys are sick. You guys are sick. Infielder stacks. Have we done anything? Are we just randomly picking players, or have we made any like team stacking or schedule specific decisions?
Well, we got that little Atlanta one off the start there.
The Atlanta, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we'll mix in a back stack here with the Colorado with your last pick.
Okay.
There's a lot of stack options that we can tack on to.
What should we be looking at here for this pick in the 13th round?
One of these like 2 pitchers, I believe.
Yeah, Jesus Luzardo.
I like
whose
that.
nickname is the Jesus Lizard.
Yeah.
Okay. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Are you
mother
kidding me?
I should have known. Newman's boy here, Joe Ryan, is interesting. Jeffrey Springs is also a really interesting story.
Hey, God, Doobie, let me go full screen for you. You get to talk about your guy, Joe Ryan, now.
Oh no. Okay, well, he's adding 2 pitches, which is fun. But his fastball just gets demolished. That's the one thing for Joe Ryan.
That wasn't the sell I was hoping for right there.
No. But the sell is he's a young guy that is continuing to develop and get better. The thing that worries me about Twins pitching is how many wins and how many quality starts are you going to get? Because the Minnesota Twins have this process where we can't allow the pitchers to basically pitch in a certain amount. Once we get the 5th or a certain pitch count or how many batters through the order, we go, no, we need to bring a new guy in, even if our ace is dealing. So
okay,
that's the worry about me for Twins pitching. But go ahead.
I'm gonna recap the team for the audio listeners. The pitchers: Blake Snell, Nestor Nasty Cortez, Lance Lynn, Joe Ryan. We were sniped on Jesus Lizard. Our infielders: Austin Riley, Rafael Devers, go Red Sox, O'Neill, the Beast Cruz, Jeremy Pena, even though he's on a cheating organization. Our outfielders: Ronald Acuna, our heavy Braves bet, Brian, the polarizing Buxton, Corbin, the young kid with the stash Carroll, Bryce Harper, what a steal, and the old and dusty Charlie Blackmon so far through 13 rounds.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
I might need a little equity of this.
You can have a 4th.
Charlie Blackmon being like the Pierre Garcon on this roster. Like Pierre Garcon going to San Francisco for like the last year of like his career. And then all of a sudden he has like 4 spike weeks with the Niners.
Okay. That's hilarious.
That's Charlie Blackmon.
All right, real talk for people who are intrigued, because this legitimately seems overwhelming. I am learning on the fly. I'm starting to understand the lingo, at least, other than watching Badge Bro streams, watching your guys' new streams on Underdog, getting in the Discord, yada, yada. Like, what would be the best way to just get, basically, what are the table stakes to get up to table stakes to draft these smart teams? Like, where would you even start? Because it seems like a monstrous undertaking.
Well, I would head over to the Badge Bros Discord.
Yep.
And I would go to the baseball channel and I would check the sticky post and I would look at baseball's sheet.
Okay.
There's a lot of people there's projection systems out there that will project how a player will perform. And one of them is called the Bat X, and it's by Derek Carty, Carty. And he gets like employed by teams to do some modeling, like, for freelancing. And we have his projections put in via the Underdog scoring system to give you an idea of how these players rank via projections. And if you just really just want to go off these projections and help make your decisions that way, like you are probably that's I would consider this table stakes, knowing how players project in these projection systems.
Okay.
Honestly, if you just inputted those rankings, set position limitations at 5 to 8 for each position, and auto drafted, you'd probably do pretty well. Like
you would never draft a pitcher.
Well, that's what you're saying with the
with the position limits and tinker, like not like direct upload. Yeah, because the pitchers are suppressed in the overall ranking list because it's like overall scoring.
Guys,
but like you tinker a bit.
What is this? I'm looking at this ADP trend chart for Blake Snell. Are we buying the dip here or what's going on?
We are the dip.
Okay. I don't like the look of this chart. It doesn't look very.
You should like it. He's the 12th best pitcher at the 91. We got a steal.
Yeah. Look at it from that. Look at it from that angle, Pete.
Okay,
that's a good.
All those guys drafted above him are just.
Oh shit, we're on the clock.
Andy Alcantara.
Oh god.
We're gonna need to move quickly, boys.
Just type in Conforto.
Okay, no, we're good.
To us plenty of times.
We're good. Thoughts?
Just type in Conforto.
You're gonna make him draft Conforto right here,
right now?
Quick!
Do you want it? Do you want it? Do you want to get a stack?
Conforto. We get the O'Neal Cruz stack.
All right, fine.
Get
the O'Neal Cruz stack.
Nez slow played it. He knew I would overrule his homerism with advance notice, but he got me without noticing at the last second to draft the Pirate.
That's so good.
Wow.
No, Kutch is a good pick. He's going to get a lot of ABs.
Can we turn off outfield now? Are we good?
No, Conforto. We want that. We want that Week 17 correlation at Coors versus the Giants. Conforto's got 4 games. We want that correlation.
Here's why we can't turn off outfield,
It works on so many ways.
We're missing half a season from Bryce Harper, and we're missing half a season from Byron Buxton. We can't turn off outfield yet.
Fuck off.
That's a good point.
You are so triggered. All I just heard is like half my team isn't playing at all this year, which sounds like my kind of team.
It's called upside.
Here we go.
Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna be. This is true. Willis is right though. This is gonna be 8-5-7.
Yeah, I do think this is 8-5-7, and I would go pitcher here.
Yeah.
So Hunter Brown is getting insane steam. By the way.
Yeah. Type in his name.
He might be gone to Lamouche already.
Did he take him already?
Yeah, Hunter Brown is gone.
Yeah.
So I like Tyler Malley. He's a twin. You heard
safe.
Like Drew Rasmussen.
Newmy,
just don't take McCullers. Just don't take McCullers. McCullers is hurt.
I'm down. I think Malley's our best pitcher.
Malley's really underrated.
Yeah.
I was hoping for an anecdote like we were down playing ice hockey in one of our 10,000 lakes, and I bumped into Tyler, and I think he's gonna have a big year, something like that.
That's a John story.
Yeah. I unfortunately, I don't have the plethora of stories that my co-host has. I'll just start pulling them out of my ass.
But I will say something nice about Tyler Malley. Tyler Malley was everybody's like darling a year ago or a year and a half ago. And they were all thrusting him up that year. They were like, hey, look at his stuff. Look at his advanced metrics, blah, blah, blah. He's like, this guy's going to be the next big thing, big deal. And then he was hurt last year. And now it's kind of like, hey, let's just buy that at a discount now. Right. So I don't have a good top of mind comp for that, but
is it Kyle Pitts? We're just buying the dip here in year 2 after we all thrust him up last year.
Oh, now this we should have.
That'd be a little too high a praise. That would have been a little too high praise, but
Sag says Trey Lance.
Yeah. That's a good one. Trey Lance is a great comp.
All right, then I love it.
Because we also haven't seen it yet. Right?
From Malley?
Yeah.
He threw a no-hitter.
I was like, what are we talking? We've seen it all from. We've seen it from Malley. He just he moved out of Great American Ballpark into a pitcher-friendly ballpark. So,
Joe, the Badge Bros have a channel in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. I got that link down below, and then within that, there are threads for the different sports within the Badge Bros channel. And John recently pinned something. If you go to the Badge Bros channel, check the pin. There's specific links to all of the various threads. I'm telling you, though, I went in that baseball thread one time and I immediately walked out. I mean, the kind of discourse flying in there, not because it was bad. It was just overwhelming. You guys were having a heyday that day I went in there.
Yeah, I will say we
wonder
are
what day it
welcoming though.
Was it
yeah.
Donk Fest? Was it Nick Pavetta Day?
It was Donk Fest, I think. Something.
No,
Donk
yeah.
It was
Fest.
Donk Fest.
Donk
Yeah,
Fest
that
was good.
I was confused about that because we went from nice friendly discourse to we were all donkeys within like 5 minutes, and it was like, whoa, well, this escalated quickly.
Yeah,
like,
we picked it back up. We got things under control.
Yeah.
After it was just our boy Smoot was just having a day.
Joe, I'm not sure what you're talking. Mine all show as deleted channel. Everything is completely public. It should be good in there. If you hit the pin, I'm looking at it now and it looks here. I'll do a screen share. Here.
Bringing me back to my tech support days.
All right, so we're here in the Deposit Kingdom. You go under shows. There's Badge Bros. You hit the pin up here, and then you can get in there. You can hop in baseball, and you can see I haven't been in here in a while. But there you go. You could then turn off. You can put the notification setting on, and then you will see it within your threads regularly. Like you can see I have the football one here.
He said, "Yeah, apparently I'm a massive boomer."
I just learned that. I literally just learned that.
Learned what?
You can turn on the notification and it appears on the left there.
Oh, you know what? We're helping
We
everyone
have
out
told
here.
you this. I feel
John
like
uses Discord by browser, by the way. He doesn't even have the app.
Get the app, John. That's ridiculous.
They have a web app?
Yes.
Unbelievable, man.
What do you do on mobile? You have the mobile app, right?
Yeah, I got the mobile
He
app.
goes
Yeah.
on browser mobile. Too.
Yeah,
I would be surprised. Him and Woo Woo over there.
Yeah, that's
All
what
right,
all my builds look like.
We need to make some decisions here.
So it seems like we're entering a sweet spot for pitchers. I feel like we played this perfectly. Look at all the purple bubbling up here, Numi.
We can take a stack for our boy Rappy Devers. These are two interesting Red Sox that we're looking at here with Justin Turner and Tristan Cassis. But if you want to,
You don't want to stack Coors with our last infielder?
Oh yeah, you did have a core stack partner. All right.
Yeah, let's do that instead. And then
Who?
I mean, those are fun ones.
I like John Gray here.
I like John Gray a lot.
Yeah.
Like
Big John Gray guy here.
He fits our build perfectly where it's like we've kind of punted pitcher and now we're looking for like safe, projectable, like strong innings from a guy who's not going to lose his rotation spot. That's John Gray.
Okay. Just some bankable points, some usable weeks, as we like to say.
Usable weeks.
We
There
love
you
a
go.
good usable week.
Yeah.
Love it. All right.
Taking John Gray is like taking Kirk Cousins.
That's a good comp.
You know,
All right.
it's like he's going to
Maybe a
give
little
us 3
disrespect
spikes.
Kirk, but it's
Taking Kirk Cousins 3 years ago.
good.
So this McCullers guy, he's been just chill. This is a
Yeah.
value hound if I've ever seen it.
Perpetually injured,
Yeah.
specifically like to start the year as well.
He's gonna be injured. He's
My
highest owned
inner
pitcher.
Woo is I can feel it.
So,
Take Numi's Rojo with Jack Flaherty.
Oh yeah.
yeah, Flaherty was like a prize prospect, had some good years, but was injured last year. So
All right. Roll the clip.
Roll the clip, baby.
Producers, we asked you to get that Jake Flaherty. Hasta la Flaherty. We did have the Spanish broadcasters on his last stinger. Or no, he's a pitcher. I can't keep track.
On his
man.
last stinger because he gives up a ton of them.
Yeah.
So if your
Foul.
pitcher hits a dinger, you don't get those points.
No, sir. That's
they
like
don't even hit anymore.
Yeah.
that's your wide receiver getting an interception.
Can't devs do something?
We tried.
Wow. Was there a debate on how to code Ohtani as a pitcher or an outfielder?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've
It's in
talked about it.
every site has a different
No site is
CBS,
uniform.
Yahoo, NFBC, all these different. Yeah, they're all different in which they. I think Yahoo is combined or something like that.
Yahoo has 2 separate Otanis.
Two Otanis. That's what it is. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. That's cool.
And ESPN is where it's really cracked because you
He's
can
one.
roster Otani and then you can put him in starting pitcher whenever he starts and then throw him in your utility spot as a
Yep.
hitter. So he's like
You know what?
one of the best
He's the-
picks over there.
He's the 101.
Underdog needs to experiment with this. I am pitching right now 2 Taysom Hill copies A quarterback and a tight end, Taysom Hill.
Dang, we should have had Taysom Hill on the table. Damn it, that would have been great.
Oh, that would have been a good one too.
But if it was actually applicable, that would have been good. But yeah, he's just Taysom Hill.
Would you guys say this draft is speeding along? It feels like it's going by pretty fast for a 20-rounder here.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised with the room.
Okay. Anyone's squads jumping out to you guys? Builds you like? Is something running laps around us? What teams do we like?
I'd like No Bo Sox team. I like Dark Sheep's team. I can't give Chip any praise just because it's Chip.
It'll go to his head. Wait.
Yeah, we can't. What about you guys? Do you see anything?
Ooh, turn me up.
I
like those pictures on Turn Me Up immediately. Spencer Strider, Luis Castillo, sign me up.
Okay.
Yeah, you lost me at Randy Rosarino.
And everyone agrees that Woo Woo just is paying the rake.
It's honestly he recovered pretty well. He's like I don't agree with the construction at the beginning, but every player that he's taken up to this point, I actually liked. I take a lot of those guys.
I hope he's doing 8 outfield.
Let's see what he's at right now. He's up to 477.
7. Okay, I can.
Do you think he'll finish with? Can you get away with if you go 4 there? Or are you just done at pitcher?
You can, but it's very risky, obviously, with the health aspects. But
it's an interesting way to do 4 pitcher too. Is to get the 2 infield and then just knock it out.
Because those are still elite pitchers. If you do 4 pitchers and your 4 pitchers stay healthy and they're elite, like you could definitely set yourself up for a really nice playoff team for sure.
Yeah, it's extremely thin, but to Nez's point, yeah, you get that through and you're cooking with fire.
We'll do 5 to get risky, but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, so we were, I think, you guys agreed with Willis, we're on an 8-5-7 train, so 1 more of each position to round this out?
I would agree with that.
Yep.
Okay. What's jumping out to you guys at the top of the board here?
Alex Cobb fits this team.
We like Alex Cobb here a lot.
Oh, there goes our back stack in Brandon Rogers.
Lamouche the douche.
He's been sniping us all day.
Yeah.
All right, Cobb. What makes him fit this build specifically?
Good projectable innings with decent stuff, veteran in a good ballpark on a winning team. They're not going to limit his innings. He's just the safe floor you want when you punted pitcher early. We recovered very nicely at pitcher, by the way.
I will say, the haters are weeping.
The haters are crying right now. The fact that Woo Woo only took 4 pitchers actually really benefited us to scoop up some of that late value.
All right, I've been disappointing you guys. I know we teased this at the top, but we have a lot more people watching now. The new channel where the Badge Bros are going to be doing MLB baseball content for Underdog. It's this new channel, Underdog Fantasy HQ. The link is here. I said at minimum 50. We're at 37 right now. Hit the subscribe. Let's go back to the board where we are on the clock. We have met our pitcher quota. We need an infielder and outfielder.
We could do Sean Murphy for an extra Brave stack.
I like Sean Murphy. Don't have to sell me on that.
All in on the Braves. Was it tough to pass up on your boy Jose Miranda? Numi?
Oh, Numi staring Alex Kirilloff in the face there. Numi he's only seen yellow right there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So can this last pick, can we get a fun week 23, week 24 stack here?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have some so we want to probably aim for Coors Field.
Okay.
One of our Coors Field teams, which would be, we said obviously the Rockies themselves, the Chicago Cubs, and the Giants, right? That's those are the big 3.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
We are a little limited in those
for outfield. For outfield, the infield option was easy. The outfield makes it tougher.
How is there the similar dynamic that we had in Best Ball Mania, where rounds 13 past the even 50 guys who generally go undrafted are all a same tier, and getting players who aren't drafted in every draft is important. Does that dynamic happen with baseball too, or is the 20 rounds, is the player pool just depleted?
No, the player pool could go 50 rounds.
The player pool, my nightmare. Underdog, do not take that.
No, it's right. I mean, like at a certain point, like past, like I would say probably like starting at round 18, it's like everybody's the same. I mean,
Okay.
I don't care about ADP at this point.
Yeah, we did this the other day when we did a baseball draft beat, and we were just going bull case, bear case, going all the way down this list. Like there are still guys like Manuel Margot right there. Like I would thrust him over a good portion of this tier. And if you keep even scrolling, like there's guys that are going to get every day. Like Jake Fraley's going to get every day at bats and play in a good ballpark and hit at the top of that lineup and might get traded at the deadline to a contending team. Like that's something I'm interested in still, but like I'm not going to get over the weight to the field. But if you keep scrolling down this queue right now, even like just for fun, go to like 112 and let's just see like what a name is. Joe Adell. Okay, Joe Adell was right there at like 116. Joe Adell's a former like top prospect and was going in the, what would you guys say, 80th pick by the end of draft season last year when they thought he had an every
was, but I will say they signed guys to mask him so they don't have to use him. So
yeah, or Jaron Duran. He could play everyday center field. He played for Team USA at the Olympics last year. He could play everyday center field for Boston there. Like he could steal 35 bags with the new rule and lead off for the Red Sox. Now that they're missing Trevor Story, they moved Kike Hernandez to shortstop. I mean, there's your bull case on Jaron Duran. Like you can just keep going with all these names down here. Franmil Reyes hit 40 home runs 2 years ago, and he's just
not
sitting
on a team, John. Not on a team.
You know,
Not the minor league contract with the Royals.
Guys, neither was Julio Jones.
Ooh, you know what? If we want somebody for content, maybe Daniel Vogelback. If you want a guy, do you know what Daniel Vogelback looks like, Pete?
Big barrel-chested, beefy.
That is a big, beefy baseball boy right there, baby.
That's who you want.
That's one of my favorite minis. That's one of my favorite minis. I love it.
What do you mean? What's the mini, Nez or Numi?
I like to do Daniel Vogelbach and Eduardo Escobar.
He said, "Oh my god,
this guy's a fucking tank." Holy cow! Look
this
at
guy.
this.
Looks like
big, beefy baseball boy.
He's not a pirate anymore, so don't worry.
This guy looks like every local slow pitch league's 4-hole hitter.
Yes.
I mean, this guy. I love this photo here of with the bubble gum too. I mean, what a
Danny Burgers, baby.
Dude, do people like share this photo on Twitter and go, "What an absolute unit"?
Oh, dude, he's on broadcast. Everybody just like makes it a point to like, this guy is fat, like all the time, man. They don't they do not let it go.
Consigliere says he's a doppelganger for my buddy at college. I think he's a doppelganger for everybody's buddy in college.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
All right, let's see here. Let's do the final recap. The squad is finished. First of all, I want, because I know Numi's not going to bullshit. I want you to give an actual grade on this team, and I want you to grade it on a curve of first place, $100,000 equity. Not saying it can win that, but just saying it was built to be able to win that. Grade.
Like you want to
Don't sugarcoat it. Don't sugarcoat it.
Oh God, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. I think it's got a pretty good chance. I'm gonna give it a. I don't know what you wanted me to grade it out of again. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say B plus.
Okay,
say B plus there.
B plus for my first draft. I definitely take a B plus. Nez, what's the grade you'd give me?
This is an A. You came in with a plan. You knew what you wanted to do, and you drafted accordingly. And there's so much upside here; it's absolutely sickening. The amount of upside in here just shouldn't be allowed.
John, what's my grade?
I'm gonna go with the equity route. We spent $10 on this team. This team currently is worth
what's the current price?
$14.35.
All right, it's a good thing Underdog doesn't have a cash out option because I'd be hitting that. All right, the final squad: Blake Snell, Nestor Nasty Cortez, Lance Lynn, Joe Ryan, Tyler Maley, is it? You said
Malley,
my bad. John Gray, Jack Flaherty, Numi's Rojo, Alex Cobb. We got Austin Riley, Devers. O'Neal Cruz, Pena, and Sean Murphy at infield. Our outfielders are Acuna, our 3rd overall pick, Buxton, the polarizing man, Corbin Carroll, Bryce Harper, Charlie Blackmon, Andrew McCutchen, and Daniel, the beefy unit Vogelbach.
Love it. Couldn't have handpicked another team.
There you go. Fellas, this has been something. It has been something. My interest is peaked. I'm excited for you guys and all of your baseball content that you guys are going to be doing over there for Underdog, and stoked that you guys are going to be doing this on their new YouTube. What are we up to? We're up to 46 here. Refresh, 46. Let's get this to 50. I said I wasn't ending this stream unless we got 50 on the new stream here. Guys, any other final words for you? Baseball partings for the crowd?
I'll say that Pete's baseball breakfast has a nice ring to it.
I mean, if you want to just imagine the tilt and just me wandering around, I'd be the Sandra Bullock meme, just like blindfolded.
I could really use some snipe content in the baseball streets, just so you knowing the names is good enough for me.
I'm honestly like impressed with you guys of diving in and doing all the sports, because I mean, I have an addicting personality, and when I dive into something, I go hard. And it's easy with football because now it's just like a year-round thing. There's always something to be chewing on, so to speak. So the fact that you guys are able to have like all the mind share, like juggling around in your head for all of these sports, it's truly, I should say impressive, but it's also scary. It's sad. And I worry how you guys all have, I mean, 2 of you just got engaged. I mean, smart to lock that down before they realize what's truly going on over here.
That was the thesis of the play, Pete. That was
before it's too late.
Before it's too late. Yeah.
Well, super. Do you guys have any other details on when you guys are going to be rolling on the new channel?
We're thinking next week. Hopefully next week. It's going to be 2 times a week for sure. It's going to start with some positional preview stuff coupled with drafts. I think the vibe of the show will be very similar to today, where we'll do like outfielder preview, draft, infield preview, draft, pitcher preview, blah, blah, blah. Right. So I think that's going to be the theme, hopefully starting next Tuesday, but currently undefined. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I think, hey, Tucker, stop. Yeah.
Sweet. And if you guys, if you want the football port knowledge cheat sheet, I'll include that in the show notes. If you want baseball's projections, head to the Deposit Kingdom Discord, the Badge Boards channel, the baseball sub thread within it. Trust me, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Get all of that good stuff. Any final words for you guys here before we sign off and I bask in the glow of this winter?
No, I will say the community is very welcoming. It's very fun. Don't be like intimidated to come in and ask like simple questions. Like, we have a ton of people, including myself and these guys, that would love to just answer anything, any basic questions. If you are trying to get into the baseball, we got you. So don't be shy. Come through.
There you go. All right, guys, appreciate you. Enjoy your evenings. What is today? Is Thursday. I believe tomorrow I am doing Splash Play with Spags at noon. And then also I'm going to be dropping my first newsletter. Spun up a new newsletter to just keep track of, I don't know, stuff going in, happenings in the Deposit Kingdom, stuff you might have missed, stuff I'm enjoying. And I'm going to be giving away one of these signed footballs over here, signed by both of the Watt brothers. And for any current subs, and I think I have the link down below. It's called the P.O. Box, free to subscribe. And I will be dropping that first edition sometime tomorrow. When
Such an elite name, by the way. So elite.
Thank you. This is true. I do need to leave and go roster bait to this team. I'm going to pull up a Google image for all of these guys. That sounds filthy, but it is what it is. We appreciate you guys. For the Badge Bros, I'm Pete. We will see you guys around. Peace.